Welcome to This Explainer. You know, we've all been there. It's 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, you walk into a gym, and it is packed. Treadmills are full, weights are clanking, and you're probably thinking, man, this place is absolutely printing money. I mean, it seems like the easiest business formula in the world, right? Find a building, throw in some treadmills, and just watch the cash roll in. But here's a massive reality check. That loud, crazy 6 p.m. rush hour, it's actually lying to you about where the money comes from. There's this quote that just perfectly nails it. A gym is not a fitness business, it's a subscription business that happens to have dumbbells in it. And wow, the moment you really grasp that difference, the whole financial engine behind your local health club suddenly makes total sense. Okay, let's dive right into this because the first big illusion is thinking that all gyms are basically the exact same business. They're really not. In reality, every gym is making a completely different mathematical bet. The core question for any owner is always this. Are you going to make your money from a massive volume of people paying just a tiny bit, or from a super small exclusive group paying a massive premium? So, the industry actually breaks down into 5 totally different business models that are basically wearing the exact same tracksuit. Down at the budget level, where you're paying maybe 10 to 25 bucks a month, it is pure volume. We're talking up to 8,000 members crammed into a massive space. Then, stepping up, you've got standard commercial gyms at $40 to $70, luxury clubs charging over $150 for that whole lifestyle spa experience, smaller boutique studios, and finally, time-based one-on-one coaching. And it's wild because this one single pricing decision completely dictates every other number in the entire operation. Now, most people naively think the hardest part of starting one of these businesses is just, paying the rent and buying a few squat racks. But let's look a little deeper. Let's look at the truly hidden upfront price tag, because the real expense here is actually turning a totally empty retail box into a space that can legally and safely handle hundreds of sweaty, heavy-breathing humans. Let's run through this hidden startup gauntlet. First off, a commercial landlord usually wants 3 to 6 months of rent paid up front as a security deposit. That's before you even paint a single wall. Then you absolutely need specialized impact-absorbing rubber flooring so dropped barbells don't literally shatter the concrete foundation. Boom, that's 10 to 40 grand right there. Locker rooms, they need moisture-resistant plumbing and specialized drainage, which easily tacks on another $10,000 to $50,000. So an owner can burn through $300,000 to over $1 million just to get the keys and unlock the front door. It's crazy. But there's one very specific number that haunts first-time gym owners, and it's 2,000. That is the exact amount of fresh air, measured in cubic feet, that you are legally required to pump into the room every single minute for a 100-person floor. You can't just prop open a window or plug in a desk fan. Building codes strictly mandate about 20 cubic feet per minute per exercising person. Getting that set up requires a massive industrial-grade HVAC upgrade that runs tens of thousands of dollars, and almost no first-time owner ever sees that coming. And then comes the equipment trap. Just getting a baseline cardio section going, like 6 to 12 commercial treadmills, plus your standard weight machines, can unexpectedly bloat your budget to anywhere from $40,000 to $250,000. So, what do? Do you buy or do you lease? Well, buying outright completely drains your crucial early cash reserves right when you need them most. But leasing? Leasing locks you into an interest rate around 8% with mandatory fixed monthly payments. And those payments do not stop, even if your membership dries up and you have to shut your doors for good. And where do you even put all this insanely expensive equipment? Well, location is critical, but honestly, not in the way you might think. Roughly 80% of a gym's membership base lives within a 10 to 15-minute drive or transit ride from the building. It is a hyper-local reality. If you pick some high-rent storefront in the city, but the median income in that tight 10-minute radius doesn't match your monthly membership fee, your business is statistically doomed from day one. All right, which brings us to the real beating heart of this explainer. This is the most vital concept in all of fitness economics, the ghost member economy. It's the ultimate paradox of the gym business. The people who are actually sweating in the gym, they are not the ones making it profitable. The inactive members are the true financial drivers of the entire operation. So the crucial point is understanding the difference between these two profiles. It means everything. The active members shows up 3 times a week. They use your hot water, they literally wear out the expensive treadmill belts, and they crowd the floor, which actively drains resources and pushes your capacity limits. Now contrast that with the ghost member. They signed up in January, stopped going completely, but they keep paying. They cost 0 resources. Every single dollar they pay flows as pure profit straight to the bottom line. The industry data behind this is absolutely jaw-dropping. Roughly 66%, we're talking 2/3 of a typical low-cost gym's revenue, comes from people who rarely or never use the facility. I mean, just think about that for a second. The vast majority of the money keeping the lights on comes from people who are sitting on their couch not exercising there. It's literally baked right into the business model. I like to call it the fire code paradox. A standard budget gym might have 7,000 paying members, right? But the legal fire code capacity for the actual physical room might only be 250 people. If even 10% of their members showed up at the exact same time, it would violate fire codes in minutes. Gyms don't actually sell access to a room. They sell a statistical bet that most people won't show up at the exact same time. And this massive bet leans heavily on human psychology and seasonality. Roughly 12% of all annual signups hit in the single month of January. Driven by those New Year's resolutions, it's a huge cash injection. But experienced owners know they absolutely must hoard this cash. Why? Because up to 80% of those well-meaning resolutioners will completely quit showing up by the time summer hits. Since survival basically depends entirely on those ghost members, the industry has learned to rely on designing for friction and comfort. The physical layout of a lot of budget gyms purposely puts the cardio machines and the TVs right up front, while kind of hiding the intimidating heavyweights in the back. Some even offer bizarre perks, right? Like free pizza, bagel mornings, or massage chairs. It's all explicitly built to create this lounge-like vibe, keeping inactive members emotionally attached and paying their monthly dues way after their actual workout habit fades. Which naturally leads me to ask you this. Why is leaving a gym so much harder than joining one? You absolutely know the drill. To join, you just click a button online. But to leave, suddenly you're facing incredible inertia. They demand these 30 to 60-day advance notice periods, which guarantees they capture at least one more billing cycle out of you. And some contracts actually require you to cancel in person or, get this, send a physical letter via certified mail? No way! This friction is so notoriously bad that lawmakers are actually finally stepping in. New York City, for example, introduced a local click-to-cancel rule taking effect in October 2026. It's going to hit gyms with penalties of over $500 per violation if they make canceling deliberately difficult. And honestly, this regulatory push proves something massive. Difficult cancellations aren't just a software glitch. They're a deliberate, foundational survival strategy for the entire industry. But, even with all that friction working in their favor, gyms still fail all the time. Let's shift our focus to death by hidden costs. It's these mundane recurring expenses that have literally bankrupted massive, seemingly unstoppable chains. Think about Bally Total Fitness or 24-Hour Fitness. You can have thousands of members and a completely packed parking lot, but if the underlying structural math is broken, scale alone will not save you. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the wildest hidden risks of all, which carries a staggering price tag of $150,000. That is the maximum statutory damage fee a gym can face per song for willfully playing unlicensed background music. Yeah, you heard that right. You can't just plug in your personal Spotify account and hit play. You need proper public performance licenses from multiple organizations. Or federal investigators can crush you with devastating copyright fines that totally eclipse your rent. And music is just the tip of the iceberg here. There are all these recurring silent killers hiding in the background. You have to budget $1,000 to $3,000 a month just for ongoing equipment repair, because heavy use shreds treadmill belts and snaps cables fast. Add another $1,000 to $6,000 a month for heavy utilities, just to keep those massive HVAC units and hot showers running. Stack all these costs on top of the crushing debt structures from the initial build-out, and you clearly see why massive scale doesn't guarantee you won't go bankrupt. So, with all of that stacked against them, how does a gym actually survive? Well, we have to look at the gritty reality of the survival math. Ultimately, it all boils down to a very simple mechanical truth about fixed costs versus revenue, and just surviving long enough to get to that magical break-even point before your bank account hits zero. Here is the absolute unvarnished truth of the equation. Let's say a mid-sized gym has fixed monthly costs, so rent, payroll, equipment leases, utilities, totaling $30,000. If they charge an average of $89 a month, their break-even target is exactly 337 paying members. They need 337 people just to keep the lights on. But here's the scary part. It typically takes an independent gym 12 to 18 agonizing months to reach that number, and they are burning through their cash runway every single day until they get there. And guess what? Once they finally hit that target, the finish line just moves. Welcome to the treadmill of churn. The industry average for annual member churn is 30 to 40%. That means a gym with 500 members has to constantly go out and acquire hundreds of brand new members every single year just to stay exactly where they started. It's not even growth at that point. It's literally running in place. Let's move on and see how this builds, because to survive this constant churn, gyms have to find a powerful solution. Personal training is great, sure, but pure one-on-one training hits a hard financial ceiling of around $100,000 a year for a single trainer. The true savior of a gym's margins? It's small group training. By shifting to semi-private sessions, say 4 clients at $40 each, that trainer brings in $160 for that exact same hour. The clients pay less individually, but the revenue ceiling for the business is absolutely shattered. Which brings us to the ultimate question for you the next time you look at your credit card statement. Are you a daily regular, actively wearing down the treadmill belt and taking up physical space? Or are you the ghost member, quietly funding the gym for everyone else? The entire fitness industry is basically built on the hope that you never really figure that out. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, and I'll catch you